Hey everyone, this is LuckySevenDX. Welcome back to Let's Play Okamiden. In the last episode, we started the Cave of Nagi with our new partner, Kuni, and we got ourselves the guidance scroll. We're going to be, I guess, redemonstrating it here. You draw a brush skill, you draw your brush, guide him over there, you grab a treasure, you guide him back. Simple as that. But this will be our second masterpiece. Like I said last time, there's two masterpieces that you can get that are missable from this, because you can't, once you complete this, and, well, once you lose Kuni, you can never come back here. So we got the two masterpieces we need to get here. We got ourselves the new enemy we need to get here. So for the most part, we have everything we need to get in this dungeon. Everything else was just pretty much fluff and puzzles. So we'll go ahead and, I don't know if I can I get across there with this? Probably need it a little bit more, but whatever. I mean, there's plenty of pots over here to refill your ink, so don't worry about wasting too much ink here. I mean, this is sort of a tutorial dungeon. It's not even, I don't even consider it the first real dungeon. It's just sort of an area. So, in the end, it's not really the biggest deal. I'm kind of like, is there any pots over here? No, but there's some right here. So, as you can see, we can refill our ink pretty quickly here. So, well, okay, yeah, we got the ink, we got full health again. We're good to go. So, blue switch, we need both people, obviously. So, let's move on. Obviously, we're going to an entire new area. There's no way you can leave an area without your partner, I'm pretty sure. Unless the game pretty much, wants you to. So, in this case, it obviously doesn't. And now here we have a kind of a bit of an interesting puzzle with the guidance skill. It's still pretty basic, although we do have to time it a bit, because there's going to be spikes that are going to be coming from those holes in the ground. So as long as Kuni doesn't get hit by those, he'll be fine. If he does, he'll just take a little bit of damage to just do another guidance, because he'll sort of lose his, he'll stop, when they take damage, they stop walking. We'll just put it like that, which does come into play later, because, there's going to be obviously there's going to be a lot of, having to protect your partners while you move them. That also comes into play. This is probably another big thing that happens. Anyway, we need to guide him over to this switch now. Pretty basic stuff. And then from there, we can obviously, it's going to give us a way to get Chibi over there. Which, right there. And now we can go grab Kuni and move on. So, pretty simple. Nothing too tough yet, obviously. Like I said, tutorial place. But we'll be wrapping this up in this episode. And we'll also be getting ourselves a new brush skill. A brush skill that's going to be necessary for us to actually get out of here. The whole rock thing, actually, if you remember, the whole Susanoo, closing out the exit from Kamiki Village, actually happened back in Okamiden, in the original Okami. He actually did that back then as well, so we're going to have to do a very similar sort of thing. You get a dragon figure here. There's figures based off of all the different spirits you can encounter. However, I think this one is in multiple locations. I'm pretty sure this one's not only found in here. So you could technically miss this one and still get that treasure somewhere else. But it's nice that we can actually pick up the treasure and just have it for now. Extra treasures, extra money anyway. And, we have it guaranteed to be on our antique list. So, good idea to pick that up. I mean, it's obviously not that hard of a treasure to find. So, I mean, the missables aren't that bad yet. Later in the game, there are a few ones that are pretty tough to find. There's some pretty hidden missables. And there are also ones you have to backtrack to. I mean, right now it's like seeming like, oh, this is really easy. Like, how would I ever miss this kind of things? There's stuff later in the game that are pretty easy to miss, though. Right now, we're kind of in easy mode. You're not going to really worry about too much about this stuff. Also, we're drawing a mouse. Because, it's a new skill. And if you recognize the rat, or the mouse, or whatever it's called, from the original Okami, you'll know what skill we're getting. In fact, we got in this exact same location as last time. Not that that's guaranteed to happen. Not all skills are in the location they were in Okami. There are ones in different locations. There's ones that are certainly in different locations. But this one right now is, pretty basic. It's in the same location as Okami. It just happens to be there. But as you can tell from the sword, we're going to learn the ability to cut things. I forget the exact name of the skill actually at the top of my head. The power slash, I believe it's called. So this is going to be our first it's going to be our first burst skill we can actually use offensively in battle. And in the end, it's going to be the one that we majorly use offensively in battle. There's not going to be that many that we actually use besides this one in battle. Well, it's mostly this one. This is your very basic attack in battle that you can use. And then there's also going to be ones that are a lot more complex. You'll see later. They're part of what we're going to actually be unlocking. We'll be unlocking more other sort of offensive skills as optional brush techniques. You'll see how that works later in the game. So the power slash is used for that. It's also going to be used for cutting rocks and other objects that we need to cut. So anytime we need to cut something, be it an enemy or an object, the power slash is going to be our way of doing it. The way it's going to work is you just need to draw a line across the thing. And you think it needs to be horizontal, but it can also be diagonal and it'll still work. So you can kind of position your line. It just needs to be a straight line. One simple straight line. You do anything other than that, it's not going to work. Anyway, so, well, we have a rock right there. Let's go, a rock right there. Let's go ahead and cut it. So activate the Power Slash, cut the rock, and all is well. So pretty simple technique to use, really. Now that we have that, though, if you remember the red imps from last time, we'll actually be able to use the Power Slash in order to get the demon item from the red imps. So now every time we encounter a red imp, I can actually try to get it. I'll explain how we do it in a little bit. There's actually going to be another pre-scripted red imp fight that we need to get. And it's a good idea to start getting them now, because you can also use the Power Slash to repel items. It's actually an enemy we haven't seen yet. We'll see him soon enough, though. But every time you encounter a red imp, try to get the item from him. Very soon we'll actually be able to make use of that item as we can, as stuff unlocks. We'll soon be able to actually unlock something we can get using the items we can get for the red imps. So if you get enough of them, you can actually upgrade your weapons pretty early on, because that's what they are used for. These items you get from the demons, they're used for upgrading your weapons. And then I randomly coughed. Sorry about that. Anyways, so green imps, nothing too special yet, but I'll go ahead and demonstrate a Power Slash in battle. It does quite a hefty amount of damage. I'll go ahead and show that in the health bar there. It took out his entire health pretty much, so especially to these weaker enemies, the Power Slash does do a lot of damage, and it's a nice disruptive technique as well. If you see an enemy that's doing, that's doing an attack that you don't want to get hit by, you can use the Power Slash. It freezes the battle, and then you can also use it to disrupt the enemy, because they'll either have to block it or they'll take damage from it, and it'll also disrupt their attacks. So, all in all, it's a great skill if you're, struggling in battle. You use it to sort of get a lull in the action, hit them with a Power Slash, disrupt their attacks a little bit. It's pretty handy to use. But anyway, how do you get the red imp? Wait till they turn gray. Then what you want to do is you want to draw a line across their top there, break their top, which I think you can draw one on them anyway, and it'll break the top. So break the top, we'll break the other guy's top over there. And then once their top is broken, get them to within one hit of dying, or no, actually get them killed, and then slash them. And once you do that, as you can see, it's gonna it'll make them drop a demon bone. So these ones, it's kind of weird. Some of them you have to finish off their final bit of health with an attack like that. But for other ones, you actually need to do it while they're dying. So in this case, after you break their top, kill them and hit them for Power Slash while they're dying. However, as you can see, which I didn't even intend to demonstrate, but good thing I did, I suppose, if you happen to attack a red imp with Kuni's attack, which is, you can see every time you complete a combo, I never actually even explained this last time, which I probably should go ahead and do that now. Basically, if you finish a combo with a Chibi on an enemy, your partner is going to then launch an attack, and based on the number of attacks your partner launches during a battle, you'll actually get added. That's actually added to the rankings, as you saw. So that's gonna be part of what you're ranked, and obviously a higher rank you can get, the more money you get. So overall, try to get as many complete combos as you can to get Kuni or other partners to attack your enemies. That being said, if you actually finish off a red imp with Kuni's attack, it will count as him being completely defeated, and you won't be able to Power Slash him. As you saw, Kuni's attack cut him in half. If they're cut in half, you can't Power Slash them. So, if you want to get the items from the demons, you need to make sure that you did the finishing blow, not Kuni. Anyways, now that we've actually completed Kuni's test, he's willing to join us as a partner. We have to go to Hana Valley and rescue the girl's mirror, which is all fine and dandy. Now, the whole naming thing. Here, it's a very big running gag in the game, and this is something I mentioned last time when he called him Mutt. That's why I think, the thing that we did before was we were actually supposed to do that later in the game, but whatever. Basically, all of your partners are going to name they're gonna name Chibi something somewhat degrading or very stereotypical of a dog. For Mutt, for example, or they're just very odd names, and as you see, every time Chibi's always gonna end up being depressed by all of these. So just sort of a running gag that Chibi never gets any good names from the people he's partnered with, and they'll give him different names. So to Kuni, Chibi is Mutt. I don't know about you, but if I was a dog, I would hate to be called Mutt. That's such a horrible word, Mutt. It just sounds so stupid. But that's just sort of the little running gag here. As you saw, you can also cut other things like lanterns in order to get ink pots or health and stuff like that, so just keep that in mind for the future. At this point, though, you do need to fix the sake barrel, because we're going to need that sake in order to get past Susanoo. So if you haven't fixed the sake barrel yet that we did last time, go ahead and fix it now. It's going to be necessary that we do so. At some point, you need to fix his laundry pole. I don't remember exactly when we have to do this. Also, in case you didn't notice, if you put your partner off, and I'm going to keep confusing the buttons like this until I get used to the controls that I have set up for this. But if you go ahead and if your partner's not on you and Chibi tries to look at something, he won't be able to. So you can never get any explanations or conversations, or you can have conversations with people. you just can't get any. You can't examine anything if you don't have a partner with you, because Chibi doesn't understand things. He's a dog. He's a dog. So, yeah. Anyway, you need the sake barrel to be fixed, or else the sake cutscene is not going to trigger. Kushi will still be in her house, and the sake won't be hidden in here. But we need to get Susanoo some sake in order to basically get him to abandon his guard duty. And also, there's something hidden behind here. You can actually get here for a little funny cutscene how Susanoo happens to have a picture of the Amaterasu back in the original Okami. Happens to have a picture of her in his house. You know, just a little, like, reference, I guess, to the closer relationship the two of them had, despite the fact that they didn't exactly like each other early on in Okami. So, I mean, it just so bleh, I can't talk. It sort of shows that Susanoo now really likes Ami, although he's kind of hiding it. You know, tough guy. I'm a tough guy. I wouldn't like the wolf. Cut down the sake, get it pretty easily. It's just hidden there, a little sparkly thing. So now we have it. Let's go ahead and talk to Susanoo and see what happens. Because we need to get out of this town. This town is not going to help us. We need to get away. We need to get out of here for the plot's sake. Because you cannot have an entire game just in one silly little village. Anyway, sake is definitely his weakness. He is really a drunken bastard, but that's okay. So he's gonna drink, and of course that's not a little sip, buddy. And he drank too much, and he does not have very high tolerance for alcohol. He's already just passed out completely. In fact, even the game music, this is sort of like the this is a silly thing music. They always do this whenever something silly happens. So basically, Susanoo, you're so sadie. Anyway, giant rock. Let's go ahead and use a power slash on it, but it's not very effective. It's like using slash on a rock type Pokemon. It just doesn't work. But actually, we'll have occasional scenes like this where Kuni is going to help you break rocks and stuff like that. So he'll do a slash, draw a line along the way he slashes, and then you'll be able to cut things into using the power of friendship, or something along those lines. But the rock's gone. The way out of the village is here. So let's go ahead and leave the village. So onwards, back to Shinshu Field, and well, we can head to Hana Valley from here. So we're gonna end the episode basically by getting to Hana Valley, and we'll be able to start the next. We'll be able to directly start the next episode then in what I consider to be the first quote-unquote dungeon of the game. Like I said, they aren't so much dungeons as they just are areas that. You'll see what I mean once we do the whole Hana Valley thing, why I call it those. For now, though, new mechanic, there are these demon scrolls. Basically, they're sort of like your random encounters in the game. If one happens to touch you, you'll get you're going to encounter like this that isn't forced. The way I'm going to do with whether I keep battles in or not is I'm going to cut out any battle that isn't a necessary battle, so nothing that's a forced, scripted battle, or anything that is needed to get certain side quests, which we're going to come across one of those side quests in a little bit. I'll explain more about those when we get to them. So really, the only battles I'm not going to show off is if I unintentionally touch a demon scroll, and honestly, they're almost never that much of a threat. Really, you're either going to be fighting scripted battles or battles that you're just doing on purpose for side quests, because as you can see, these demon scrolls are really easy to avoid. If for some reason I happen to get touched by them, though, I'll go ahead and do that fight. There's also cases, though, like that, like you just, when you do have an unintentional fight like that, you also can escape battles. There's going to be a little crack on the side of the battle arena. If you jump up and slash that enough times, it'll break open, you can jump through it, and you'll be able to get out without losing any sort of, well, you won't have any penalty for it, you just obviously won't get anything for winning the battle. So, do the battle, get a little bit of extra money, which, honestly, the money you get from those kind of battles is really not that important, so I wouldn't necessarily do those extra battles. Don't grind for money in this game, you don't need to, just trust me. You get enough treasures and you get enough money naturally that you do not need to grind for money. Anyway, so we fixed the handle to Hana Valley. However, Kuni seems to be struggling. He's on top of it and it's not even moving. That's a pretty sturdy gate. This whole gate thing is really weird, because it's like, why would you ever make a gate that's this hard to open? That defeats the purpose of a gate. Also, I love that Chibi tries to just gives him a dirty look like that, and they just represent it like that. It's just the silliest little thing, but just the way they express emotions in this game is really entertaining, so I do love that. But yeah, so that's the whole basis of the Demon Scrolls. You can escape if you need to, but only if you need to. Unlike Okami, where escaping actually penalized you by they had this like godhood status thing like back in the game that would protect you during battle. It'll make you so you can shield from a few attacks. Okamiden doesn't have that whole godly status thing or whatever it's called. So because that was the penalty for leaving battles back in Okami, you'd lose that stat. Because that stat's not in this game, there's no penalty at all for leaving battles. So go ahead and run away if you want to. There's no loss for doing so. Anyway, as you can see, basically they want to go to Hana Valley. There's no way to get in there though, because as the guy is gonna say, we can't open the gate by themselves. And he's asking the nameless man for help. I can't talk in this episode. Basically, he doesn't want to help us, because there's a bunch of demons on the other side of the area. Demon-infested place. It's kind of how what Hana Valley was in the first game. But also, this gate needs 10 people to open them. Why would you ever make a gate that needs 10 people to open it? That's so counterproductive and stupid. I don't know. It just seems kind of weird. Also, two things. Right now, the Nameless Man is going to give us our first side quest. So, basically, at some point you're going to find stuff that demons stole, like things from them, or they need to find a certain list of objects. They all will always be, there's two ways that they'll either happen. Either you'll find them in random scrolls in an area. So, for example, at some point we're going to have to find items that are stolen by demons somewhere in Shinshu Field. So they'll fight a bunch of demons and to get those back. Or they'll be found in treasure chests in a dungeon or in an area of some sort. And they're not necessarily even all contained in one area. They could be spread out among many, many areas. So basically, for this case though, everything's going to be found in Hana Valley. So all 5 of his items are going to be found in treasure chests or in other areas in Hana Valley. The way it's also going to work though, and I'm going to go into more detail as we do this side quest in the next episode, because we'll do it as we do the dungeon, obviously. But you'll find these items in the order in which they're listed. So you can also check to make sure you have all the items. By if you end up missing one, that means that item is located somewhere in between where you found the first one and where you found the third one, for example. So yeah, that's basically how that works. Also, if you go back and look for the Nameless Man's text, you'll notice that there was a big typo where Kuni accidentally repeats what the guy says, which is completely unintentional, I'm pretty sure, because he's not a potter by trade. Kind of a little funny that they had that text error. Anyways, so Susanoo shows up, and he's basically, no, Kuni, you can't go here. This is a really touchy scene. I was kind of been actually reading it a little bit because, I've been talking about other stuff, but basically Susanoo shows up, tries to get Kuni to stop, but Kuni's like, I can't. I have this duty as your son to go help this little girl, and Susanoo is just really touched by it. He has this moment where, before he was treating Kuni like a boy, can't let you anywhere near danger, and now he makes a decision as the father to go let his son get into danger to fulfill his honor and his duty. It's just a very touching scene, actually. It's one of these reasons I like Susanoo as a character, and this is one of the cooler parts with Kuni, is Susanoo basically being like, you know what, I trust you, you're a man as well, you're the son of a swordsman, you can do this, just be safe. It's like this whole, you're my son, I love you, but I have to let you go sort of thing. And it's like, oh, this game does have some really genuinely nice moments in the plot. There's some moments in the plot that are just kind of silly, but each of these characters are going to have their story, and they all are really nice stories in the end. So, you're my son, but it doesn't mean you have to save the world. That right there just sort of sums everything up. So, we have Susanoo's blessing. In the next episode, guys, we're going to go ahead and do Hana Valley, the first major area of the game. And it's going to be pretty awesome. So, it's LuckySevenDX signing out. By the way, Susanoo can carry 10 men. What the heck?